Hello, I'm Brian from the Duffle Bag, and thank you for tuning in to our channel today. I'd like to discuss the piping that was used on U.S. Army garrison caps beginning in World War I and right through into the mid-60s. You could still find soldiers wearing it. Now, there's two types of piping, and most folks just take for granted the color piping that's on a hat, not thinking too much about where it came from or why there's different types. The first type that you encounter is this one, where it looks like it's a series of small knots, sometimes in a solid color like these two, and sometimes they're what we could call speckled, like this one. This happens to be Army Air Corps. Now, if you look at these examples, you'll see that they're not knots, it's long stripes, long horizontal stripes. Now, there is a difference. There is a different meaning. These hats are issue hats. The piping was procured by the federal government, and the manufacturers would sew it to the caps. This particular one is Tank Destroyer. This one, if I remember correctly, is the Adjutant General Corps. It's a deep blue with crimson, and it too has the long stripes. This style that's knotted are PX caps. These are done by various manufacturers so that a soldier could buy an additional hat in case he lost one, whatever. But that's why there's a difference between the knots and the long stripes. As I said, they started these basically unofficial in World War I. You will see color piping on an officer's cap, for instance. It wasn't until later on that the officers got their gold and black speckled piping, and to distinguish them from the enlisted man's. Now, there really is no exception. These are the only two styles that you will encounter. Okay, now, we call these hats, while we're on the subject, some people call them overseas caps, some people call them garrison caps. Well, the term overseas cap came into fashion during World War I when it was discovered that the troops arrived in France wearing campaign hats. But what do you do with a campaign hat when you take it off without sitting on it? So it was easier. The American troops saw the French troops wearing this style hat, and they said, oh, that's a great idea. Now we don't have to wear that dumb campaign hat wherever we go. So the term overseas came from the fact that it was used basically just overseas. And when the troops returned from Europe, they still had their caps, and there they go. And they were allowed to be worn in garrison, again, instead of a campaign hat, and therefore it got the term garrison cap. If you have any questions on headgear or anything like this, the different colors, if you have a hat you can't identify the color piping, let us know. Drop us a line in the comments section, and we'll be happy to get an identification for you. So we appreciate any likes that you'd give us, and also we'd appreciate your subscription. So again, thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.